tomorrow morning, closing arguments will begin in Daniel Penny's manslaughter trial here in New York City. The Marine veteran's family telling the New York Post, quote, "There's a lot on the line. Our brother's fate will essentially be decided. Ultimately, the trust that whatever happens is God's will. We will get through it together." Our next guest warns this trial could set a really bad precedent for New Yorkers who might be willing to do the right thing. Former NYPD Lieutenant and Army veteran and doctor Darrin Porcher is here to explain. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. You know, we were talking about this. I'm looking at your POV. Really, what happens as far as a verdict is one thing, but the fact he was put on trial for this, that really sends a message to the rest of the city if they're in a similar situation.
Absolutely, Joey. This sets a bad precedent because we as common New Yorkers want to step in and help our fellow New Yorkers when they're in need. This is a person that's protecting people that don't have the ability to protect themselves. And I give you an example. If you and I were on this train, I would have taken the top, you would have taken the bottom, and then we would have switched up when we had him on the ground. Because it's important that not just police, but we as a community come together when our fellow citizens are in jeopardy.
Yeah, you know, you're a former NYPD lieutenant, so you're a police officer out there. You're walking the streets. Things like this happen. You guys can't be everywhere. I mean, there's some bit of assurance knowing that your community wants to police itself and help each other out between when it happens and when you get there. What does it do for the police officers in this city to know that, hey, now citizens are just going to stand by and watch?
It presents a bad precedent for police, knowing that the citizens are not going to step up. We only have 30,000 plus NYPD officers in a city of 8.5 million people. The NYPD can't be everywhere. So at the same token, this bad precedent that's being set by the Manhattan DA sets real ramifications towards the NYPD officers in knowing that, hey, look, we have to do a lot more to protect citizens, and we just can't be everywhere.
Yeah, you know, tomorrow we'll be closing arguments. A verdict may come this week. The jury has a lot to deliberate. Most of the witnesses that came in, it seemed like, had something that the prosecution wanted to hear and had something that the defense wanted to hear. You've got 12 jurors in there, New Yorkers. What do you think they're thinking sitting there? Do you think any of them are putting themselves on the train with what was happening?
It's very difficult to speculate as to how the jurors may see things. We had a defense expert that came in and stated that the cause of death for Daniel Penny was not the chokehold.
Yeah.
And then you have the prosecution that presents an amalgamation of different witnesses that present different narratives. So it's really hard to see because I've seen verdicts that have gone extremely to the left, extremely to the right, but I'm hopeful and I'm confident that Mr. Penny will be vindicated and cleared and we can put this trial behind us.
Yeah, you're a veteran police officer. I'm a veteran. It'd be hard for either of us not to take action. Obviously, nobody wants to see somebody die. I don't think Daniel Penny wanted to see anybody die, but that's what happened. And hopefully the jury sees the innocence and the hero that he is.
Absolutely correct.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Joey.
Yes, sir. All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.